Do you like tapes? Well, if you do, then I've got a great place for you. It's called Golden VCR, and it's on the Twitch, and it's really gonna scratch your itch for Chatter, the Biggles, and Eyewitness, Peter Gabriel, and maybe some fitness. So sit right back and enjoy the show. It's tape time, bitches. Away we go. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Sorry, that came to me in a haze. I thought a good 80s rap would start us off with some energy. And I need that because I just woke up because I had late night gastrointestinal surprise that woke me up at 5 in the morning in intense pain. And then I slept. So now I'm good. So happy, so ready for tapes. So regulated and clean. So here is our first tape for today. The Clown-Faced Carpenter. This is one I found recently at a thrift store. I thought that this would be like kind of pattern fitting for the Truly Terrified sort of thing, like funny tape about carpentry, but it's actually Bird. So this is 3 10-minute science shorts from Moody Science Adventures. Let me find it on the website. goldenvcr.com. The Clown-Faced Carpenter. And also, Journey to the Stars, and Water, Water Everywhere. Nature's carpenter with wings, he carries his tools wherever he goes. By tapping holes and filling them with acorns, the woodpecker supplies food for many animals during bleak winter months. He is the Clown-Faced Carpenter. Your journey to the stars will begin with the sun and then lead on beyond the boundaries of the Milky Way. As you explore the vast reaches of space, you'll be amazed by how much of the creator of the universe cares for you. Oh! Is this explicitly religious science video? In Water, Water Everywhere, you'll learn how water makes the difference between the barren moon and the green earth. And you'll find out why we need God's living water for eternal life. Oh, I did not know. I did not know that this was a science tape for religious schools. For more than 40 years, Moody has been capturing the magic of nature's mysteries on film while showing how the wonders of creation reveal the majesty of God. Now Moody Videos brings these award-winning films into your family room in science adventures designed especially for children in primary grades through junior high. Science adventures also feature The Wonder of You, with a matter of taste, and a mystery story. Look for Moody Science Adventures and introduce your family to a whole new world. Wow, okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's a lot of, like, I grew up going to Catholic school, and we had science class, and ours was a faith tradition that did not deny, like, evolution or anything like that. There are many ways that you can marry science and religion. Some of them anti-science. Like, yes, Chaz's Bob Jones University science books probably were, and some of them more harmonious. This was not fully kind. Come on, man. Give me a break. It looked like it was. The Pope scope? What is that, a big telescope that is aimed directly at the Pope at all times? Wow, that was deceptively unrewound. Okay. Ready for it now. The Clown-Faced Carpenter. Tape number 660. Oh, we were so close to 666 for this one. Moody Science Adventures 1. That's the most bare-bones copyright warning I've ever seen on a VHS tape. Oh, this looks older than I thought it would be.
How many stars are there? For centuries, man's concept of space was based upon what he could see with the unaided eye. A field limited to a few thousand stars.
Look at those
But
wholesome
about
boys.
years ago, a tool was found which enabled man to roam the uncharted pathways of outer space. It was Galileo who thought of turning a telescope toward the heavens, and in so doing, he snapped the fetters binding man to earth.
I betook myself to observation of the heavenly bodies, and first of all I viewed the moon, as near as if it were scarcely 2 semi-diameters of the earth distant. After the moon, I observed the heavenly bodies, both fixed stars and planets, with incredible delight.
I love 60s Galileo.
Grew rapidly in size as astronomy and the science of optics progressed hand in hand. Through the passing years, man dreamed and built. And with the completion of the 100-inch telescope at Mount Wilson, California, he could look with unbelieving wonder at even more of the handiwork of God. And man dreamed again and built yet again the giant of Palomar, a giant whose 500 tons of glass and steel are poised so delicately the hand of a child can move it on its course. A giant whose 200-inch eye stares, unblinking, into space. An eye that is daily pushing back the boundaries of man's knowledge. So how many stars are there? The sun is the #1 star as far as we're concerned. To us, it doesn't look like the other stars in the sky, but that's because we're so much closer to it than to any of the others. We're only 93 million miles from the sun. That's a lot of miles, but it's still very close when we're thinking of astronomical distances. The reason our Earth is so close to the sun is that it's one of the sun's family. That is one of the 9 planets.
Yeah, the clown-faced Carpenter gets top billing by far. But they don't start with it.
It's possible in a view like this to represent the true scale in either size or distance. So let's compare them accurately as to size. We will see them here superimposed over an actual time-lapse photograph of the edge of the sun, with prominences extending thousands of miles into space.
What is this suspenseful music?
Closest to the sun is Mercury, just a little fellow as planets go. Then there's Venus.
Mercury, he's just a little guy.
And Mars. That big fellow is Jupiter, 1,280 times the size of the Earth. Then comes Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and poor little Pluto.
Poor
Way out
Pluto.
in the cold, going around in a great big orbit, averaging 3,675,000,000 miles away from the sun. But that sun, just how large is it? Well, if it were hollow, you could drop more than 1 million spheres the size of our Earth down inside and rattle them around. For the sun is about 1,500,000 times larger than the Earth. But away out there in the heavens are other stars so much larger, they make our sun but a mere speck in comparison.
He's just a poor boy from a poor solar system.
Well, let's take a trip from the sun just to the nearest star out in space. To make this journey, we'll travel at the speed of light, 186,000 miles a second. At this speed, you could make 7 complete trips around the world in less time than it would take for just one good sneeze. Let's say we begin our journey on January 1st. At exactly 12 o'clock noon, we leave the sun and hurtle into space at this inconceivable speed.
What happens to our bones if we move that fast? Can we get a companion tape on that question?
93 million miles that separate the Earth from the Sun in just 8 minutes, 19 seconds. We continue on, passing Mars, Jupiter, Saturn,
My poor head bone, it can't be crushed anymore.
Uranus, Neptune, and finally, we reach Pluto, the last sentinel outpost of our solar system at 5:31. And remember, we have traveled 3,675,000,000 miles already, and it's still January 1st. But wait a minute. Our journey was to the nearest star, not to the limits of the solar system. We haven't even started our trip yet. We must continue to travel as the days, the weeks, and the months pass. Finally, a whole year goes by. Then 2 years, 3, 4 years. And on April 19th of the 5th year, we reach Alpha Centauri, that nearest visible star.
Leica has mixed feelings about space, I think.
To use the astronomer's language, we've traveled 4 3/10 light years. But our telescopes don't stop here. Their searching eyes have probed the depths of space
Leica.
thousands,
Barf.
millions,
Leica.
yes,
Barf.
hundreds of millions of light
Barf.
years, and still there are stars beyond.
Leica.
This tremendous knowledge is relatively new because not too many years ago, astronomers were unable to conceive of anything beyond our own Milky Way system. To them, this was the universe.
I mean, Leica
Discovery rocked the
really hates being in confined vehicular spaces.
For years, telescopes had revealed hazy objects called nebulae distributed throughout the heavens. Some of these, such as the Flame Nebula in the constellation of Orion, which under ideal conditions may be seen with the naked eye, and the spectacular Filamentous Nebula in Cygnus, were known to be composed of luminous gas. Many had a definite spiral shape, thought then to be great whirlpools of luminous gas in the process.
Oh, thank you, by the way, to Green Day Rock for giving out 5 community subs.
However, an intensive study
Appreciate that. I was getting ready for my rap, so
bringing to bear the
passed right by me.
resolving power of the
Thank you very much for that.
telescope. This nebula was found to be made up of individual stars and was in reality another galaxy. It was this discovery that pushed back the boundaries of our knowledge
that's
and
great.
expanded enormously our concept of the material universe. This new knowledge enabled us to understand the structure of our own galaxy. And at last, we had an explanation for the Milky Way. Our galactic system is very similar to the Andromeda galaxy. Seen from the edge, it would appear something like this. The Milky Way is merely our view of our own galaxy. Its diameter is about 100,000 light years, and we are located about 33,000 light years from the center. This system is revolving, and our speed in it is about 200 miles a second. Even at this speed, it will take us at least 200 million years to make one revolution. But ours is just one island universe.
Yeah, I was about to say
Everywhere we look out in
it's
space,
pretty.
there are others.
It's been pretty light on God so far. Sparky.
There are at least 200 million of these galaxies
just a little guy.
just within the range of the Palomar telescope. In this amazing photograph made with the 200-inch telescope, the brighter spots are stars in our own galaxy. Let's blot these out. Now, those hazy little spots remaining are not stars. Each is another galaxy almost 1 billion light years away. Each is composed of 100 billion suns. But now, how many stars are there?
Sunny. We love Sunny.
Tell us there are at least 100 billion stars in our galaxy. the
At
Milky
least
Way.
100
But remember,
billion.
There are 200 million of these galaxies within known space. So if we would number just those stars within the range of our present telescopes, we must multiply 100 billion times 200 million. And this equals 20 quintillion stars.
I really love how they're illustrating big number with
But
like
remember now, these
a Warner Brothers cartoon matte painting.
are visible with optical telescopes. Recent developments have given astronomers a radically new tool, the radio telescope. These giants not only detect stars invisible to optical telescopes, they probe several times as far into the depths of space. So our estimate of 20 quintillion stars is much too low. We must be prepared to add billions upon billions more.
Hey!
Knowledge of the universe continues to grow.
He said the Carl Sagan
Of
thing
course, the
in a
human mind cannot
God science
begin
tape.
to grasp the meaning of such a number.
Billions and
But
billions
maybe
of
this will
stars.
help. Think for a moment, if you can, how many grains of sand there are. Sir James Jeans tells us that the total number of stars is probably something like the total number of grains of sand on all the seashores of all the world. So how many stars? God alone knows the answer. Man may never know the exact number, but each time he looks and sees what lies beyond, he must ever be mindful of the infinite power that put it there.
Mountain Dew is the best soda ever. I would have agreed with you when I was like 12. I drank so much Mountain Dew. That was yeah. Is the Moody Institute of Science a real scientific institution? I don't know about that. Oh, it's the clown-faced Carpenter. Hell yeah, I'm here for this. It's so 60s.
Mexican settlers called him El Carpintero, the carpenter. His scientific name, Melanerpes formicivorus, meaning creeping black thing that eats ants. To bird watchers, he's the acorn woodpecker. A carpenter in a clown costume. But don't let the clown face fool you. Here's a tireless worker who really knows his job, hole digging.
Sure, I boosted the tape a bit.
Each of these
I
little
do.
dimples is
I do look loud on the meter.
and
I'm
in nearly
dialing
every
myself back
hole
slightly.
there's an acorn, neatly fitted. This is El Carpintero's winter pantry.
Acorn time, hooray! Hopefully that's slightly better.
God has given this high-powered operator all the right tools. Strong toes and claws, that sharp, hard beak, and heavy neck muscles. His tail feathers are unusually stiff. They give him something to sit on. while he
Hey,
works.
1,000 bits from Jace.
He uses his tail for balance when he flies.
And a Peter Gabriel train. I really love the synthesizer doot-doot-doots
He
of this
goes out
music.
looking for an acorn.
I do wonder if a
One
clown-faced
acorn,
Carpenter knows how to play
one
some
mouthful.
Brazilian drums. Let's test that out with some Song of the Sun, shall we? All right.
These
Then.
acorns are each about an inch long.
Love me some Brazilian drums.
Acorn woodpeckers eat more than just acorns. They like other kinds of nuts, some fruits, lots of insects. In fact, like flycatchers, they make occasional side trips to snatch a flying insect. Fancy wing work. They're not particular about their food, and they're not particular about where they store their food either. Any old pole will do. So will a post. Or a roof even.
This is just going to be 10
This
minutes
bird
filled with
obviously
woodpecker
doesn't
noises.
care if the roof leaks. What's a roof for, except to store acorns? Sometimes the woodpeckers do real damage. It's not on purpose, of course. For the most part, these are very helpful birds, and so they're protected by law. The bird sticks the acorn in point first, and he insists on a perfect fit. There. That one's in to stay.
They're very cute.
But now, wait a minute.
He liked the peck.
One little woodpecker couldn't possibly eat all those acorns in one winter. And that's just fine with the Stellar Jay, because he likes acorns too. This western relative of the blue jay eats lots of them. So does the gray squirrel. He forages on the ground, but
so the clown-faced carpenter is an obsessive pack rat. A pack rat who's obsessive about collecting things.
There must be some lunch around here somewhere.
Everyone gets to benefit from that. Strange behavior. Okay.
On the other hand, maybe lunch is up here.
Pemmets for holes.
Aha!
He's so cute.
Smorgasbord. That woodpecker really
Lunagazer, thank you for
jams these
gifting
things
5
in.
subs. Oh, including one to, we got one to Tech Absol, we got one to Stephen George.
At last. It's all right when these other creatures steal the acorns. The woodpecker has more than enough to last the winter. And winter, when it comes, will bring problems. Not just the leaves fall, the ripe acorns do too. The leaves cover them, making them hard for the animals to find. Even out in the open, they're hard to spot. But God, through one little creature, has provided for others.
Oh, that's right, God. It's because God. They're not talking about evolution explicitly.
Ripe acorns are buried for sure now. Along with the leaves, most of them will decay over the winter. Many birds and some animals migrate to warmer places for the winter. The jays, the squirrels, and the woodpeckers stay. But they'll have enough to eat thanks to the carpenter's hard work. All those acorns are stored well above the snowy ground and easy to reach. And winter doesn't last forever, you know. With melting snow, another cycle begins. What's this? Storing acorns already? They're not ripe yet. No, the woodpecker's digging a big hole this time, a nest hole. This little bird eats half his weight in food every day. Delicious morsels like fat grubs and squiggly insects. As soon as he graduates from hole to trunk, the young woodpecker digs right in. No one teaches him how to drill the holes all the right size. In fact, no one told him acorns are good to eat. He has not yet seen a winter, no snow, no ice. And yet, he's getting ready, just like the other woodpeckers, storing those acorns.
Aw, look at Waldo.
Many animals find food in winter because of this clown-faced carpenter. Does the woodpecker realize what he's doing? Probably not. He just works on and on, using the amazing specialty God has given him.
In my faith tradition, the woodpeckers are God. Presentation of Moody Bible Institute, copyright, what is that, 19... No. 1980? Oh, no, wait. LX. Okay. 19. That's the 19th century. And then, yeah, 80. That can't be right. Or, sorry, the 20th century. The Romans really are stupid. I don't like their numbers. Water, water everywhere. You can still buy a large assortment of Moody science videos on
through the vastness
Christian
of space
Book.
Is our nearest neighbor, the moon.
Howdy, Dan. We're watching homeschool videos.
Walked on its dry, dusty surface.
They're old.
We now know it is barren, desolate.
They're old science
devoid
videos.
Of even the simplest forms of life.
But they always have to make sure to mention that God is cool and God did the science.
Earth, a sphere of striking beauty, fresh.
Hey, Green Day, thanks for
green,
subbing, strapping up our boy Motion Dan with the sub. Ain't no hogs on the moon, ain't no goats on the moon, ain't no bears on the moon. Why does God hate the moon? Oh my god, we got a level 2 hype train? I really gotta get more, wink. Oh, that owl is making bedroom eyes. And he winked at us. I really gotta make the on-screen graphics do something when we level up the hype train. I just have Peter Gabriel when it starts. I didn't really know what hype trains were when I first made this alert. We got white babies, black babies, Asian babies, grass babies, jiggling babies, bonnet babies, unsure of everything babies, babies who are grown children and play baseball, javelin babies, adult camera babies, mustache man babies, pirate babies.
What makes the difference between the lifeless moon and the living Earth?
1,000 bits for the Dan compilation. Hell yeah. I have that somewhere.
Water makes the difference. There's nothing else like water in the entire universe. And yet on Earth there's a great abundance of it. It covers about 70% of the Earth's surface. That's an estimated 326 million cubic miles of water. If the surface of the Earth were perfectly smooth, the waters of the ocean would cover our planet to a depth of between 8 and 9,000 feet. And while it's true that only a fraction of all the water on Earth can be called fresh water, or water suitable for our own personal use, that fresh water comes to us through a water cycle that daily lifts from the oceans millions of tons of water, leaving behind the salt and dropping the fresh water as rain upon the Earth. In the water cycle, water vapor is created by the heat of the sun. And the water, the sun, the air, and the force of gravity work together as they have for centuries to keep what is known as the water cycle going. Warm air is lighter than cold air, which causes it to rise. These clouds began as rising currents of warm air laden with
Why
moisture.
did we need all that stuff about the moon to learn about the water cycle?
Process along by pushing the moist air up steep mountain slopes.
The moon men.
As the air rises, it cools.
The moon men worshipped a false idol, so the God of the Old Testament smote them,
literally squeezing
took all their
out
water
its
away and gave it to us.
Which falls to the earth as refreshing rain. As the raindrops fall, they wash the air, absorbing carbon dioxide and reaching the earth as a mild solution of carbonic acid. Or
yeah, the distribution problem is a big one, but
needed for plant,
luckily
animal,
we can
and
just
human
let
life to survive.
private industry sort out that problem. The Nestle Corporation will save the world.
Evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. These make up the water cycle,
Penguin-yak, thank you
which
for the
is
reset.
continuous, occurring over and over again somewhere, every moment of every day. 3,000 years before the principles involved were discovered by modern science, the Bible described the water cycle with amazing accuracy. All the rivers flow into the sea,
Did it?
yet the sea is not full. To the place where the waters flow, there they flow again. Think of the energy involved. More energy is expended in the water cycle every 24 hours around the planet Earth than man has been able to generate throughout the course of history. And the water cycling process is so successful that up till now anyway, the most extraordinary thing about water is just how ordinary it really is. Vital to life, yet available in great abundance. And because of abundance, it's an easy thing to disregard the value of a substance. Ordinary water.
Oh, look at that water. It looks delicious.
How much would you say it's worth? Actually, it's priceless. Did you know it takes 300 gallons of water to make one loaf of bread? 700 gallons for 1 barrel of petroleum? 4,000 gallons for 1 pound of beef? 10,000 gallons for 1 automobile?
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hay, dry as it may seem, is over 60% water.
We're learning about
The
science.
same thing is true, only more so, of every tomato, every carrot, every apple. 250 tons of grain represent an intake of 150,000 million tons of water.
I mean, you need
Every
water
day
to make
we
the glass,
buy
right?
products that are largely water, or it took a lot of water to make them. But even more important is the role water plays in the functioning of your own body. About 70% of the average human body is water. In one way or another, you keep losing this liquid, and if it's not replaced, and fairly soon, you will die. It's the water in your blood that carries it through 60,000 miles of arteries, veins, and branching capillaries. Water plays a major role in the digestion of your food. It serves to lubricate your joints. Your mucous membranes would dry up without it.
What is this exercise bike?
Without water, your eyes would cease to function. As you work or exercise, it's the water that regulates your body heat through a process called perspiration.
Or
Right at this
sweating.
moment,
You
as
don't
from
want to
the
be a
beginning of
nerd
time,
about it.
Water is supporting life on Earth. And so far as we know, there is nothing else like it in the entire universe. It seems to have been expressly designed to make the planet Earth hospitable to life. Your life.
Ooh, it was explicitly
Even so,
designed.
with the gift of water comes a responsibility. We've been so blessed with this gloriously abundant, yet tremendously vital substance that we drink it, bathe in it, walk through it, compete in it, take what we want out of it, dump what we don't want back into it, and hardly give it a second thought. Water, with its precise properties, is God's loving provision for our physical lives. God has also provided for our spiritual life. Long ago, Christ said, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is who says to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would give you living water."
It's this was a tape for like homeschool kids primarily, I think. And religious, science classes in religious schools and stuff. From our friends at Moody Science Adventures. I liked that, honestly. That was some of the most inoffensive religious content we've had. Like, it didn't try to, Now, are there better sources you could have learned science from in 1980 than, like, 60s religious videos that don't mention evolution at all when talking about, like, animal behavior and ecosystem? Yeah. Moving on. What are we watching next? Well, we're watching Song of a Son and Dan, first of all. Thank you to JSbook for that. It's a good time to remind people, this is our last stream for a little bit. I will be out, I will be leaving Saturday, doing a little traveling over the 4th of July. Oh man, we gotta watch an America tape next, because we're not even gonna be here for 4th of July. Let's see, Song of the Sun. God, we watch so many Canada tapes, though. Every day is Canada Day on Golden VCR. Let me go find a tape. Okay, we're not going to watch this now. I probably will watch it on or around September 11th. Operation Enduring Freedom, America Fights Back. Proudly featuring Donald Rumsfeld on the back. From 2002. Like, very immediate history, very contemporary propaganda about the war on terror. When I've brought this up before, people have said, that's fine, you watch that, I don't want to. So that might be a lightly attended stream. It's only 65 minutes. But anyway, I got some better stuff for you today. Tell you now, this Sunday is the day that you have met the bare minimum requirement for existence. Is that your birthday? You mean being alive for another year? Is that the requirement? Congrats on existing, though. Either way. To be alive is not without its challenges, but it's a great thing. Dan.
This video program presents some information found in Dan's First Aid for Hazardous Marine Life Injuries training program. Ask your Dan instructor or Dan retail store sponsor about these and other training opportunities. Dan carries a wide variety of first aid kits to meet the various needs of divers worldwide. Ask your instructor or call Dan for information on the best first aid kit for the areas that you dive. If you're interested in learning more and becoming trained to provide these first aid techniques, contact Dan or your local Dan retail store sponsor to sign up for Dan's First Aid for Hazardous Marine Life Injuries course. In the unlikely event that you have to handle a diving emergency, contact Dan through the Dan Emergency Hotline. Founded in 1980, Dan is an international nonprofit Dan, with its international headquarters located in the United States at Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. Dan also has affiliates in Southeast Asia Pacific, Japan, Southern Africa, and Europe that can assist you in the unlikely event of a scuba diving accident or injury. If you suspect you've been injured while scuba diving, you can call a Dan Diving Emergency Hotline. Dan provides this service to the diving community 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, to assist and arrange for evaluation and treatment of injured divers. Whenever you need help, Dan is there for you. Dan works to prevent diving injuries and accidents. If you have a question concerning diving medicine, dive safety, fitness for diving, or for a referral to a physician knowledgeable in diving medicine, you can call Dan's Diving Medical and Safety Information Line. Dan also conducts research into why divers get hurt.
Is that a diagram of testicles?
Diving and various environmental and physiological conditions may affect diving safety. Another way Dan improves dive safety is through training and education. Dan has developed an oxygen first aid program and related oxygen delivery equipment to promote the benefits of emergency oxygen first aid for injured divers. Dan also offers training programs for physicians and emergency medical services personnel. Dan wants to ensure that oxygen and someone trained in its use is available at every dive site and on every dive boat. Dan provides these valuable services to the entire dive community because of the support of the world's largest association of recreational divers, the Dan membership. For a small annual fee, Dan members receive many valuable benefits, including Alert Diver, diving's leading safety magazine, Dan Travel Assist, access to potential evacuation in a medical emergency when you travel, and the opportunity to purchase the most affordable and comprehensive Dan available. Ask your Dan instructor or retail store sponsor how to get involved today. Dan is your Dan Safety Association.
Okay. I had to rewind a tape, so that was good timing. Oh, and I also need to remember to unboost the volume. Let's see. All right, and happy birthday to Will. Hope it's a safe one on Monday, I think you said.
As people get older, they tend to become more concerned about
your
safety.
72nd.
This has certainly been true with me. And since I have already had my 72nd birthday, I am far more concerned about safety than most people.
That's what I wanna be when I grow up to be a man. Woman!
Life. These fossils have been difficult to interpret. Originally, they were thought to be jellyfish and giant worms, but later scientists said we can't see eyes, we can't see a mouth, we can't see an anus. Are these things even animals? And it was thought that perhaps these are...
Where are the anuses?
That was a good insemination today.
这是很成功的一次人
这是什么
工受精。
猴子的好？
Okay, that was just a collection of fun clips. Now, what are we watching? Have I got the tape for you? It's... So I got an American tape that we can watch in anticipation of the 4th of July. America's celebration of our independence from the British. But you also wanted Canada tape, so I got you. It's Smart Hockey, more safety, more fun. Presented by TD Waterhouse and Think First, an initiative of Think First Canada, in association with Shoot for a Cure campaign. No right-thinking player. That's such an Orwellian way of putting that. No right-thinking player wants to give or get a concussion or spine injury. This is about how to not get killed while you're playing hockey. Let's try it out. I picked this one because we might be able to hit the bricks on it. It is kind. And I need to go eat something because, as established at the beginning of the stream, I rolled out of bed in a post-abdominal distress haze shortly before the stream. I did not have time to make myself a bowl of oatmeal, so I'm going to go do that once we get rolling on Smart Hockey. And when I get back, you can tell me if you want to keep watching it or move on. Come on, cool intro. Come on, cool intro. Not a cool intro. Smart Hockey, more safety, more fun, was telecast nationally on TSN in January 2002 and broadcast on NHL Network digital television. This video is that 1-hour TV show divided into 5 color-coded segments for easy use in instructional settings. Plus questions which can be discussion starters. Actually, it's a single quote, so discussion starters. Reset the tape counter now. All right. We did it. Why this program was made and the causes of hockey's head and spine injuries. A short course on discussions on concussions and recovery from them. Matt Sundin gives 6 tips to help players avoid being injured. Matt Sundin again gives 6 more tips to help players avoid causing injuries. The roles played by coaches, referees, and rules in Smart Hockey. All right, let me get some of those bingo points. Oh boy. This is very detailed. I like that they're just sticking this onto the beginning of a tape. $1,000 points to Aaron the Baron. Congrats on winning bingo. I do like that there's just ambient hockey rink sound effects behind this too. These otherwise incredibly lazy graphic design. I guess the point is color coding it to make it easy to spot when you're trying to find it on the tape. There's going to be video, right? It's not just this. It's not just an hour-long PowerPoint. They're really just taking their time introducing each segment. Okay.
In the 1980s, serious spinal injuries in amateur hockey became cause for concern. Medical research showed many of these spinal injuries were caused when a player was hit from behind, going headfirst into the boards. Think First, a nonprofit association of neurosurgeons, neurologists, nurses, and other healthcare professionals, produced a safety video, Smart Hockey with Mike Bossy, to make players more aware of the dangers of hitting from behind. Thankfully, hockey now has significantly fewer serious spinal injuries. In the 1990s, Think First doctors became alarmed at the number of concussions they were seeing in young hockey players. That's why they made this Smart Hockey program with the cooperation of other concerned parties including the National Hockey League,
It's been
the National Hockey League Players Association, the Canadian Hockey Association, and various medical
4
bodies.
minutes of preamble so far.
The awareness created by this program will be preventive medicine for hockey players of all ages and for the game itself. This program was made possible by JOFA.
There's some hockey footage. That's what we like to see. I feel like this is going to be a real buzzkill.
Requires more individual skills, more teamwork, and more raw.
Because the fun part of hockey is fighting, as we already established from
No other game delivers as much enjoyment for players.
Canada's hockey racist, Don Lemon.
Proud to say
Is
I
it Don
played in the
Lemon?
National Hockey League. In fact, that's me quite a few seasons back. In goal.
Don Cherry, okay.
And now as a broadcaster,
Right.
I'm thrilled to still be involved in this
I was
great
close.
game. We all know that hockey is a high-speed, full-contact sport where bumps, bruises, and even broken bones can happen. But in recent years, first some spinal injuries occurred, and then concussions came along. Serious injuries that
Oh, I want a
no
gross,
player, coach, parent,
watery
or
hot
fan
dog after
can
seeing that
accept as part of the game.
Sabret hot dog
Now,
banner.
It hasn't exactly been an epidemic, but even one such injury is one too many. And we're going to look at what can be done to prevent them. We'll meet some of hockey's biggest names. Superstars like Mark Messier, Mike Gardner, Mark Recchi, Trevor Linden, Ken Dryden, Cassie Campbell, and Martin Brodeur. We'll learn more about the human brain and spinal cord.
Americans, how many of those people did you recognize
We'll look at some of the
at all?
and discover what it
Put
can
it in the
do
chat.
and cannot do to prevent serious injury. And Matt Sundin will show you 12 essential tips that can keep you and your opponents safe. It's
Canadians, how many of those people did you recognize? Put it in the chat.
that we call smart hockey.
See, this is Canada tape. It's really hard having no context for hockey when, like, for example, Bella, when you're like, fuck that awful guy. I don't know if it's because he's like, he had some sort of racist scandal or because he
Over 100
beat your
years,
team.
Yet it's only recently that concussions have become cause for alarm. We asked NHL superstar Mark Messier about any changes in the game that he has witnessed over his lengthy career, which may have contributed to this problem.
I think that part of the problems that you're seeing now with high sticking and hits to the head is a culmination of things. I think one of the things that players grow up now with complete face shields on, they have no regard for the impact or for the damage that they can do with a stick to the face or a high sticking penalty or an elbow to the face because they've grown up their whole lives wearing complete face shields. So I don't really think they know the impact and the dangers that can cause from a stick.
I think that really is a fact that facial injuries, that head injuries have increased with the more gear that we wear to protect ourselves.
This music is really grooving. I'm gonna
After his amazing 19
go
years,
get
708 goal
food
NHL
and
career
coffee.
was over. Mike Gardner took an executive position with the National Hockey League Players Association.
Man,
He also coaches minor hockey.
I was dreaming last night about,
When his two
I
players
was
were-
dreaming that I had to run a stream
and somebody
of
will come
Golden
up and
VCR.
hit a kid in the face
This was
mask.
after my
Well,
gastrointestinal
obviously there's no
distress, so I was
damage, which is a good thing.
passed out
But the
and
bad thing is that
delirious.
there isn't a penalty called either.
I had a dream that I was doing a stream, but like all my friends were around and they kept like getting in the,
To go on, and I
just
think that
messing with
what's happened
things.
is It's been going on for 15
like
or 20 years.
Steven just walked up to the computer and was like, I'm gonna roll 80 minutes of Twitch ads now. You need money. And I'm like, no, what? No. And then I just
Mike's right.
had to sit
When
there.
referees don't call penalties on
There are
hits
all
to
sorts
the
of
head or
technical
face,
problems.
Players start to believe this tactic is acceptable, and that's wrong.
Everything kept freezing,
Van Hellemond refereed
and I
in the
kept like
NHL for 25
forgetting
years
for
and
20
was
minutes at a
elected to the
time that I
Hockey
was
Hall of
streaming
Fame.
and being like, oh shit, I have to
Players
go
no longer believe they can
take care of the stream.
can hurt other players.
And it was a complete clusterfuck. But everyone seemed chill about it and was just like, we're just watching the tapes.
A lot
It's
of
fine.
players that they can't hurt somebody. I worked one year at a hockey school where a player lining up after taking shots.
So anyway,
Stick and just bang
my
somebody
takeaway from that is that y'all can entertain yourselves.
quite hard. And I went
I
over
will be
to him
right
and I
back.
said, I mean, he says he cut in front of me. in line taking the shots. I said, well, you can't hit him over the head with a stick like that. He goes, I didn't hurt him. So that perception within his thought process was, I can hit him over the head and I'm not going to hurt him.
Dr. Tom Pashby, elected to Canada's Sports Hall of Fame for his pioneering work in sports safety, has been studying hockey injuries for more than 50 years.
You see, helmets prevented death. There's no doubt about that. But there was a feeling, and there is a feeling among the old-timers, and I talk to a lot of them. I have lunch with them every month. And they say, Doc, there's no respect. There's a feeling that if somebody has a helmet on, you can't hurt them in the head. And it's true that we don't have the deaths now, but we do have concussions.
Hockey's protective equipment is the best it's ever been, so players feel safer than ever before. But when players believe they were almost immune to injury and think they can't hurt their opponents no matter what they do, it leads to reckless hitting with no respect for safety. Blaine Hoshizaki, a sports biomechanics specialist involved in the design and manufacture of hockey equipment, confronts this dilemma.
The challenges facing equipment manufacturers is to design equipment that protects the athlete as best as possible, however, does not make the athlete feel invincible, because there is no equipment that we can design that can protect the athlete completely or the player completely. And we do not want the athlete to feel that he's invincible and therefore take risks that are beyond the ability of the equipment to protect them.
If there is one piece of equipment that players are putting too much faith in, it's their helmet.
A good quality certified helmet will help protect the head against concussions and decrease the severity of an injury. However, there is no helmet that's designed or manufactured to date that we know of that in fact can protect an athlete from all concussions or injuries.
Pittsburgh Penguins Dr. Chip Burke heads up the National Hockey League Team Physician Society.
You are not invincible because of the equipment that you're wearing. That equipment is not completely protective against all injury. And in the case of a face mask and a helmet, you are not invincible. Concussions can still occur because that force has been applied to the brain. And therefore, players should not go out and hit to the head. They should not go out and put themselves in a position to be hit in the head, because concussions can still occur no matter how much equipment you have on.
Listen to Glenn Sather, a respected hockey man who has been playing, coaching, and managing in the NHL for more than 30 years.
I think the biggest thing is respect for each other. The players, you really don't have to hit somebody in the head to play this game. When you strike somebody in the head or above the shoulders, your intent is not just to take them out of the play, your intent is to hurt them. You may not want to seriously hurt them, but I think your intent is to hurt somebody when you do that. And maybe lack of respect is the best way to put it.
All hockey players must become aware of the injuries they can cause with a check to the head or face. When we come back, the real serious risks of concussions. A concussion is a brain injury that's usually caused by a hit to the head or face. Dr. Charles Tatter, a distinguished neurosurgeon and professor, explains what happens to your brain inside your skull.
What happens in trauma or injury is that the brain moves within the skull. There is play in there. And that can tear blood vessels and it can tear fibers in the brain. And it's that tearing that can cause permanent brain injury and permanent symptoms like memory loss. Concussion can happen in different ways. There can be a direct blow from an elbow, for example, to the brain, or the brain can hit a solid object like the boards, or a glancing blow can cause rotation of the brain within the skull. All of these are damaging effects on the brain.
We can see that it is impossible for any hockey helmet to totally prevent your brain from being shaken inside your skull when your head collides with a solid object. The helmet does do a very good job of preventing cuts, bruises, and fractures if it stays on your head. Some experts think they should be tightly secured with chin cups, like football helmets, like this young player is wearing. Doctors now know that you don't have to be knocked unconscious to suffer a concussion. This means concussions are not always obvious, and sometimes the concussed player himself does not realize he has suffered such an injury. Philadelphia Flyers All-Star forward Mark Recchi told us about a concussion he sustained.
Well, I was skating up the boards. Actually, we were on the power play, and one guy was rubbing me off, and I was trying to dump the puck in, and their defenseman stepped up on me, and my head hit his shoulder hit my head, and my head hit the glass. So it was, you know, a combination of things, but a little bit of a sandwich, but it didn't feel very good after. You know. I mean, I jumped right up, and you know, I finished the game, and you know, but after the game, you feel, you know, obviously feel sick to your stomach. It's not a very good feeling.
Everybody in hockey should know the early symptoms of concussion: loss of memory, loss of consciousness, headaches, dizziness, nausea, poor concentration, slurred speech, loss of vision, or vomiting. And any one of these symptoms means a player should come out of the game and be taken to a doctor. Then, during recovery, a concussed player may suffer from symptoms like memory loss, fatigue, blurred or double vision, vertigo, light sensitivity, ringing in the ears, sleepiness, insomnia, irritability, personality change, or even seizures. And the player must wait until completely free of these symptoms before returning to even light physical activity.
The next question is, how do you treat a concussion? How do you speed up the recovery process?
We're constantly searching for the treatment of concussion, because people will constantly ask us, well, once someone has sustained a concussion, what do I do? Are there types of medication I can take? Are there forms of other treatment, psychotherapy, or something that can be done? And I think to this point, no definite treatment as far as a medication or any other type of therapy has been proven to work. We are waiting for the brain to restore itself to its normal functioning level, and I think that takes time, it takes rest. Different players and people seem to respond to concussions in different ways. So as we learn more about concussions, hopefully someday we'll be able to talk about treatment, but at this time it's really diagnosis, rest until all the concussion symptoms disappear, and then a return to activity on a gradual basis. And if there's any return of the symptoms during that return, then the player must sit out until they have a complete resolution of those symptoms also.
The worst thing a concussed player can do is to return to play before he or she is fully recovered. In fact, it is very risky to that player's long-term health.
There are two major risks in returning to play before complete recovery from a concussion. The most serious is the second impact syndrome, in which the brain can swell and the player could even die. The other serious risk is the possibility of long-term brain dysfunction, like memory loss or personality change. And so a player must wait until fully recovered before returning to play.
NHL veteran Trevor Linden knows how difficult it is for a concussed player to be patient during the recovery process.
Players feel pressure to play. The bottom line is that, and not necessarily from coaches, from managers, or from trainers, from themselves, because they want to play and they want to be in there. And you know, a player who's never had a concussion sustains one and feels pretty good. He says, you know, I think I can play, And you know, that's the time where maybe sometimes the trainer has to step in and say, are you sure?
We all know that returning too early from a concussion has some real serious effects on that player's health. One of the things that we want to do is gradually progress them back into physical activity. And we don't do that by putting them on the ice right away. What we like to see is putting them on a stationary bike for 15 to 20 minutes, evaluate his symptoms during the ride and after the ride. If that works well, then graduating them up into more aggressive exercises, be it push-ups, sit-ups, stride jumps. And then as they feel no symptoms with those physical activities, then we'll put them onto the ice, light skating on their own first, then putting them back into practice drills. Then what we want to do is we want to get them into physical contact and gradually progress them up to the point where then a decision to return to play needs to be made. And that's a group meeting between the coaches, the doctors, the training staff, and the player himself.
The thing is with the head injuries, it's so tough to detect because, and for a trainer, you know, if you've got a bad shoulder, he can feel it, and you're oh, that's sore, that hurts, or your range of motion is not where it should be, your strength is bad. So the trainer goes to the coach and says, you know, he's unable to play. With a head injury, there's not a lot you can do except from what the player tells you. Yeah, I have headaches, I'm confused, I'm light sensitive, all these things. But there's no real test for that. It's just what the player is relaying to the trainer.
A lot of people don't understand it until you get it, and you know, I think it's very difficult when you know how bad you feel, and but you don't show. You know, for the most part, you don't look like you're doing badly. But when you try and do something, you don't feel very well. So it's tough.
The player walks around, he looks fine. Everyone looks at him and say, well, why is he not playing? And it takes a good staff to be conscious of these types of injuries, and studying the brain is difficult, and the doctors are learning, the trainers are learning, I think players are understanding more and more every day.
It comes down to this. Hockey players have to have more respect for their own brain and for the brains of all the other players in the game.
Everybody in hockey has to realize that brain injuries are serious, and so hits to the head must be stopped. There are several concussion information cards put out by sports and medical bodies. Every minor hockey coach, trainer, safety person, and referee should carry one of these cards with instructions on what to do if they suspect a player has been concussed. Coming up, Matt Sundin with tips for players to protect themselves and their teammates and opponents too. Some hockey people say today's players are not learning how to protect themselves from injuries. Ken Dryden, former All-Star goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens, says players must learn to strike a balance between performance and safety.
I made it back. I got myself. This has been my go-to lunch lately. It's grocery store potato salad and fake crab with some spicy dill pickles and bread.
They've got to find a way of controlling their speed.
It's quite good.
So that when they can get to stretches where they can go fast, they do go fast. But otherwise, you're going to be running into trees. And hockey players are the same. I mean, a forward in terms of handling a puck, you're going to handle that puck better if you are looking at the puck. But you also know that if you're looking at that puck,
it's fake crab, like the
so you've got
surimi, the stuff they put in like California roll.
You've got to be able to handle the puck by not looking at it, and you're not going to be as good at it.
And you can buy it.
But you're going to be safer.
You can buy it at the grocery store for like $2 for
on and off the ice, who plays at a very high level of
10
skill
sticks.
while handling body contact very well. And the Leafs captain enjoys playing the game. Listen up as Matt shares 12 smart hockey tips.
It's just fully cooked protein you can grab out of the fridge and chow down on.
Avoid sustaining and causing serious injuries.
The most important thing, I think, is skating.
All you guys are good skaters? Skating and the balance when you skate and play is very important if you want to protect yourself and stay away from getting hurt a lot. So what I could recommend is
be a good skater.
with your teams or anything, work on your skating,
Simple.
work on your crossovers, not only forwards but backwards.
Don't want to get life-threatening injuries? Get good, children.
Your buddies at home or something. And when you're playing scrimmages and playing one-on-ones, that's when you really work on your balance and your skating. So keep doing that and keep playing a lot and having fun.
The first way to avoid injuries, be a good skater. Strong balance and agility on your skates helps you to avoid checks or roll off them. Take Sundine's advice. Work on your stopping, starting, turning, and pivoting, both forwards and backwards.
When you have the puck, you got to be able to stick handle without always looking at it. You want to look at it a little bit, but you want to be able to look up and look at whoever you're going to pass the puck to. And still able to move the puck and then look down. So this, you should work on this a lot. When you're by yourself or with your team or whenever you're out there playing around.
Watching the puck and not watching where you are going and who's around you is like driving a car without watching the road. For sure, you're going to run into something, and there's no airbags to cushion you out there on the rink.
Know where you are on the ice. If you're close to the boards and know where your teammates are. So even if you don't have the puck and the play is going another way, make sure you keep looking around. Same with the other team.
I have seen that roller coaster,
yeah.
yeah.
Where your opponents are and where the boards are. So when you're playing, you don't back into the boards and trip over someone. Until you get back to the bench for a change, be sharp and stay alert.
Like,
because when you lose
if
that,
I had to be
you
executed
kinda go
by
like
the
this
state,
and you think you're out of the play.
roller
That's when
coaster
you
wouldn't be
get
the
hurt
worst way to go.
and get hit hard. Make sure as long as
But I
you're
think
on
it
the
would
ice,
be
stay alert and,
horrifying.
Keep your head on a swivel. Keep looking around what's going on.
When you cross the street, you'll look out for cars. It's the same thing when you play hockey.
So I don't think the state should
And you
execute
must
people.
stay aware and alert.
Or at least not me.
You can never assume that anybody else is looking out for you.
Always try to come in on an angle. When you go to the boards, or if someone is standing on the boards, can you help me out there? I'll show you this, sir. If you have the puck, and I want to check you, and you're trying to just stay there. I don't want to come in straight ahead because he could, first of all, he could go either that way or he could go this way. He can fake me out. It'd be tough for me to check him. But if I come in this way here, now I know he's going to have to come this way. So I can force him, first of all, away from our net, and then check him into the boards like that. Just like we talk about the angles, it's the same when you're going in.
Hockey is such a weird sport.
Come in like this.
They give you a weapon.
Now you're in a vulnerable position to get hurt, and it's not even if the other player is trying to hurt you.
And you're sliding
Always
around
try
on
to come in
ice
like
for
this.
some
Even
reason.
If you're in a foot race, try to come in on an angle so you can get the puck like that and move out.
Nobody knows this better than Kurt Gangenbach, who was a promising young player a few years back.
Well, I was playing my second year of midget hockey. It was our first playoff game, and the defenseman had the puck in the corner. And I skated hard towards the corner. The key is I skated straight towards the corner, and I just lost the edge of my skates. Freak accident. I went to hit him, lost the edge of my skates. He moved. I went head first in the boards, breaking my neck. Talking about maybe how it could be avoided. Like I mentioned, I went straight into the corner. Had I angled into the corner, there's a good chance if I still did fall, I probably would have gone shoulder first. In all likelihood, I wouldn't have gone head first. But by going straight into the corner at the defenseman, tripping, head first in the boards, breaking my neck.
So remember, never skate directly at the boards like this, because if you fall into them, you can have a very dangerous head-on collision. Always come in at an angle like this, because you are much safer and less likely to get hurt.
As a player, if you
Good morning.
if you would
We
get
are
hit
watching
from behind or lose
hockey
your balance
safety.
or anything, make sure when you come into the boards, protect yourself with your arms and sometimes even the stick. If you
Oh my
would get
God.
hit from behind or something,
What you got?
you stop the impact. You don't
It's a
take it
French
with your
fry.
head
Oh
or
my
with your
God.
hip, because that's how you get hurt. So protect yourself with your arms and stick if you're coming in high speed to the boards.
What a good dog.
So you don't get hurt.
When you cannot avoid going into the boards, put your hands, your arms, and even your stick up to absorb the shock. This is vital because going headfirst into the boards is extremely dangerous.
Why don't they just get rid of the boards
Area where you can get hurt. If you're 3 or 4
and make
feet
it like
away from the
sumo
boards
where
and
you
you're
just fall
battling
into the
away or
crowd?
Looking into the boards and don't see what's going on, that's where you get hit and then fall headfirst into the boards. But if you stay in here and you get hit, you always have the boards to depend on and lean on. And it's tough to get a serious injury there. You want to help me out? Show you. If you have the puck and skating that way there, and I come in and hit her here, she's just gonna bounce off the boards here.
Are you a true Canadian or a true Leafs fan?
And I come and hit her.
If you
now
don't,
she might fall head first.
if getting hit by a flying skate of one of your players
Try to
wouldn't
think about that to stay close to the board.
excite you.
And tight.
Far too often kids find themselves too far away from the board, so the puck is sitting in the corner. So they're going in, they're a little cautious because they know
Okay, you got the Toronto Leafs.
And so now they stop 3 feet from the boards.
You got the Montreal Canadiens,
Well, that's the worst possible
which
thing you can do, because if somebody's going to hit you,
I think of all the people that would want to label themselves as Canadians, Montreal would be the least likely in my mind, so I don't know why they're called that.
and it could be.
Then you got one team that's just the Canucks, which is also the Canadians, right?
And you're going in at a
What is
very
that, Edmonton? No, Edmonton has the Oilers.
encourage kids to get
The
closer.
Canucks are like,
The closer you get to the boards, I think the less likely you are to get really seriously hurt.
the Spalumcheen Canucks, that's right.
First 6 tips. Be the best skater you can possibly be. Keep your head up handling the puck. Stay aware and alert at all times. Approach the boards on an angle, never head on. Going into the boards, get your hands and arms up to absorb the impact, and know when you're in the danger zone, 3 to 4 feet away from the boards.
What about Calgary? Do they have a team? The Calgary Cannons?
Smart hockey tips to avoid causing serious injuries.
Calgary Flames? Oh, they sound like they suck because I've never heard of them. It's like the Atlanta Heat, the NBA or something. Just the team that no one knows. Or the Jacksonville Panthers or whatever. Sorry, Dan. Oh, sorry, the Atlanta Hawks. My bad, Swift, my bad, I know.
Before we go back to Matt Sundin,
My grandma would be ashamed of me. She was a huge 90s NBA fan. She loved Michael Jordan.
Work on physical fitness, including building up your neck muscles.
We were at
and play wearing a mouth guard.
We were at a barcade recently, and I played NBA Jam on a cabinet, and it was scrolling by the teams, and I was like, the Atlanta Hawks? Atlanta had an NBA team? What? And apparently they still do. They suck, and I never heard of them.
I mean, your neck has to be strong, and I know it's just been recently.
And I grew up 2 hours from
I'm
Atlanta.
working out on my neck now when I'm doing summer training and season training, and that has to be a strong part of your body. I mean, that stabilizes your head, and you have to be strong there, and I think a lot more players have to start looking at that area.
How many of you have mouth guards? I'd like you all to think about getting a mouth guard, because if you have a mouth guard in, not only does it help protect your teeth, but if you were to take a hit to the jaw, those forces are transmitted up into your brain. And what we're finding is that if you have a mouth guard in your mouth, that it actually absorbs some of those impacts, so less forces get put up into your brain. So it's really good at an early age to start wearing a mouth guard, because then it'll just become part of your equipment as you get older and start playing hockey.
I think a lot of the girls are now more aware. I wouldn't be surprised if you see everyone on Team Canada wearing mouth guards in the future.
Now 6 more smart hockey tips from Matt Sundin. Tips to help players prevent causing serious injuries to teammates or opponents.
Hockey's a very competitive game, and we all try to win, and hitting is a big part of the game, but if someone is like this with a puck this far away from the boards and handling the puck like that, use your common sense. Don't hit him from behind or come in and cross-check that person from behind, because that's how you get really hurt, and especially if the person is off balance.
Is it against the rules in hockey to hit someone
If
from
you're
behind?
standing
Or is it just a gentleman's
a little
agreement?
A little further out, and you're handling, looking at the puck, and you want to work it. Don't come in like this for a cross check, or even hit the person like this, because that's how you get really hurt. So if you see the person is off balance or digging away at the puck and they can't really see it coming, try to avoid to make that check.
Body contact's a great thing. It can be very effective in a game, but anything from behind, you know, it has a potential to be life-threatening and you know, create serious injury. We're not talking 1 week or 2 weeks with a bad shoulder or something. We're talking a lifetime change here. So I would just stress that when you're making contact, make sure you can see the whites of his eyes, and that's always been kind of my guideline.
Vancouver Canucks' exciting Sedin twins, Henrik and Daniel, agree.
If you see a guy standing with the back to you and
these are the exciting Sedin twins?
I won't hit him because it's dangerous for him.
Maybe they're more exciting on the ice.
Everyone
in the rink, on the court.
This is another area where we'd like hockey players to show more respect for the spine. The spine carries all the messages from the brain to the arms and legs for sensation and movement. In hockey, it's the neck area right here that is injured, and the commonest cause of injury is for a player to be struck from behind into the boards, and this is where the fracture or dislocation occurs. Right there, the bones come apart and the spinal cord is crushed, and that can lead to lifelong disability.
No hockey player wants to cause such a serious injury, and so never hit from behind. Some minor hockey organizations use the Safety Towards Other Players program. They put a stop sign on the back of every sweater as an on-the-spot reminder to players not to hit from behind.
Body checking is a big part of hockey, we know that, but there's different ways to check. And one thing you don't want to do and to prevent concussions is checking one to the head. Because obviously we have protections on our head, but if you get a check with an elbow or an arm or a stick, it could really hurt someone. So I'm going to show it on you. If you're skating along the boards again, and I'm coming in to check him, you can really get a serious injury if you come in and if you have your arms up. Now I'm so tall, but if you have your arms up or your stick up or your hands up against the head, and the head bounces against the boards or the glass, you can get a serious injury. So stay away from that. And how you really check is using your shoulder against his shoulder, and use your body and muscles to deliver a real body check. Don't check to the head.
It's not just hitting from behind that must be stopped. All players must realize hits to the head or face could cause concussions. Serious injuries we must prevent.
One of the most important things is educating people, making people aware of what concussions are and what their dangers are, because we are talking about the brain, and we're talking about the functioning of the brain. And as you know, the brain basically controls everything. So any injury to the brain is to be taken seriously. And there can be long-term effects from brain injury.
Listen to the doctors. Stop checking to the head or face. No player wants to cause a brain injury. Never hit to the head.
Another thing that creates a lot of injuries is, guess what? What do you think it is?
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I was musing. I had forgotten that Pittsburgh had a hockey team.
With a puck or playing with a puck, the stick
and
is
I was
to
wondering why Pittsburgh needs a hockey team. If Philadelphia has a hockey team.
Shooting and scoring, and it has nothing
I'm pretty
to
sure
do
you
up
can
here
walk from
or,
Philly to Pittsburgh
or, even when
in
you
like
go and
an
take
afternoon.
a shot, there's a rule that you have to remember. You're responsible
They're
for
both
your stick and where it
Pennsylvania's
goes, so it doesn't come up in
best
anyone's
city.
faces. So when you go in, and if you're going to make a clearing pass, know where your follow through is going to come to. You can't come in like this swinging the stick, because there's other players around you and you have to be aware of it. And even if you're going to go and clear the puck out for a backhand or shoot, you're responsible where that stick goes. You can't go like this.
Full face protection in amateur hockey has led to more high sticks to the head and face. Dr. Pasby fears that some kids injure each other because they almost enjoy testing the equipment.
You know, just because you helmet on, you shouldn't bring your stick up. It's like somebody wearing a bulletproof vest and firing bullets at them just to see that it works.
Players must control their stick responsibly to avoid injuring others. And no one can control what you do with your stick but you.
Words to live
You guys
by.
know what a suicide pass is? What is it? What's that?
I know what it is, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah, when you pass it to someone
Good
that
answer,
doesn't
kid.
know that they're about to get hit or checked. So if you're my teammate and I have the puck down here, and I see there's two guys or two girls coming from behind you and are ready to check you, I don't want to give you the puck, because as soon as you get the puck, they're going to hit you, and that's how you can get hurt too.
God, this is.
That's another thing.
There's a lot of.
Responsible for what's going on the ice. And
I don't know. Mental gymnastics isn't the word, but like you
And,
have to think a lot about
that's a bad choice of pass to do.
everything
to
that's
someone
happening
about to
between
get
all
checked
the
or
humans
has someone
on
right
the
behind
ice
them.
Here's a good
orb.
example of a suicide pass. The passer should never
you're
have
playing
made that
hockey.
pass because he
Sounds
could see that
tedious.
his receiver
Sounds exhausting.
was going to be blindsided as soon as he got
Sounds
the
physically and mentally exhausting to play
puck.
hockey.
Suicide passes.
One thing that I notice from watching kids play, and one thing that is different when it comes to senior in the National Hockey League, that it's very important that you talk on the ice. I don't know if you guys do that. You help each other out on the ice, because you can be the eyes for your teammate when he or she is not looking around. And if you're skating up the ice and your teammate has the puck and someone is coming to hit him or her, give them a yell. Heads up, someone is coming to hit you. Or even if you're on the bench and not on the ice, help the people on your team that are on the ice to see what's going on.
No one in the NHL is a better communicator than New Jersey Devils goaltender Martin Brodeur. He is constantly talking to
Yes,
his
all
defenders,
code involves
giving
a
them
dude in a
second
black
set of
hoodie.
eyes, helping them to avoid hits and to keep safe.
Well, it's important, you know, for a goalie and even for a defenseman among themselves to really have a good communication out there. You want everybody to know where the puck is and other players at all times. It makes the game a lot easier and makes it a lot safer for some guys. You know, you're playing in a league that there's some big boys out there, and you want to make sure that you know, as a team, you help each other out.
What's he actually saying to his defenseman?
Well, I'm gonna tell him to move it or
Gonna
to
tell
eat
him,
it
"Don't
up,
get hit."
Make sure that, you know, he stays with the puck and just take the hit. You know, sometimes
I'm gonna tell him,
you know,
"Get good at
there's-
skating."
You can't avoid a hit, and I think if you prepare your player that somebody's on him by yelling, you know, on you, you know, at least they can avoid sometimes getting hurt because knowing somebody's coming pretty hard on them. Part of hockey is taking the hit to make the play, and you know, these guys are big and they're smart, and you know, if you hug the board, it doesn't matter who's going to hit you. You're not going to get hurt that much.
Finally, remember to, when you're out there playing hockey games, treat your opponents and your teammates the way you want to be treated yourself, with a lot of respect. Keep your sticks down and have fun. That's the most important thing. That's why we all play hockey, it is to have fun and play hard, because it is an emotional and a physical game, and enjoy yourself.
Ah, yes, Docky and
the way you want to be treated yourself.
Halky.
In hockey, it's the kind of game that you really have to learn to respect
The three
guy
whitest
you're
men in
playing against,
Canada.
and respect yourself. And think of whatever you're going to do to him, it could really happen to you. So just be careful in what you do in this game.
Now
I
let's
like Hacker
review
Teddy
those 6
Bear.
smart hockey tips to avoid causing serious injuries to opponents or teammates. Never hit from
Hacker
behind.
Plant.
Never hit to the head. Control your stick responsibly. Do not make suicide passes. Communicate with your teammates. And respect the safety of everyone on the ice. Although Mats was showing these tips to young boys and girls, they apply to hockey players of all ages, from peewees to old-timers. These 12 crucial safety tips should be taught intensively and reviewed regularly at all levels of the game.
Are they wearing
Coming up next, what coaches, referees, and
are they wearing
rules makers
armor
can do
underneath
to
their
prevent
jerseys?
injuries.
You know, like football players wear the whole like get up. I don't know what the what the jock term for armor is. I forget. I don't mean Under Armour. I mean like actual padding, you know. Why do games have rules? Does hockey need the no head checking rule? How does smart hockey apply to you? We're almost to the end of this. I think it was a 60-minute program with commercials, so all of these little title cards are just here to fill up the time and make it an hour to watch.
Have a role to play in injury prevention. Not
Ooh,
only
the same song
players
again.
how to make and take a check and how to protect themselves from injuries.
This song is like great
showing emotional control
title
and respect.
title screen music for a PlayStation 2 sports
Is
game.
really the person that the players look to, and therefore I think the coaches have a unique role to influence what goes on the ice and influence how the game evolves over time. So I look to the coach as the #1 person, as a preventer of injuries, and I think the coaches need to take on that role and take on that role seriously, because they are really the example and the teacher when it comes to instructing in this game of hockey.
I've noticed as a minor hockey coach that my team that I'm coaching is going to eventually take on the personality that I want to portray. And I think every team is the same way. If you have a coach that's is flying off the handle all the time, his team will react in a very similar fashion. If you have a coach that is calm and in control and is disciplined with the kids that he's coaching, that team will generally take on that same personality. So I think that we have to start right at the very top with the league officials, with the on-ice officials, with the coaches and the parents, and I think that that will eventually translate down into the kids that are playing.
NHL and Olympic coach Dave King, renowned for his thoughtful approach to the game, says that overly emotional players need special handling before they lose control and cause injuries.
First of all, I think it's very important if you've got a player with a short fuse that you spend some time with them so he can learn some strategies to deal with it. Secondly, I think it's important that the coach then, because you've got this player in your lineup, you identify a couple of players that play with him that can help him in a situation on the ice. So when something breaks out on the ice, where he's involved in something, that somebody intervenes, holds him up, helps him get control. So I think you can do it. Those little tips can make it work for you. And I think it's really important that the player knows that you know he's got a short fuse and he's got to deal with it.
The referees and rule makers also have key roles to play in keeping the game as injury-free as possible.
The reason that you have rules in a game is to set the boundaries of a contest. All of these games are created contests, and what we're trying to do with them is to have it as the most constructive created contest. A contest where the best players win, the best team wins. The team that if they play in a certain way is more likely to win than they are to lose. I mean, that's why we have these kinds of rules. If we get to a point where in fact, you are able to bend and manipulate and break rules in a way where those that should be rewarded aren't rewarded, we've got it all wrong. And then it doesn't work. And then it loses not just a public favor in terms of fans, but it loses favor in terms of the players.
Sometimes she's my foot rest.
A no-hitting from behind rule was added to reduce spinal injuries, and it's working. Now some experts think a no-hitting or checking to the head rule should be made a part of hockey's code of conduct.
If we can bring in a no-head check rule that gives, let's say,
were they still debating a no-head check rule?
A match penalty
at this point
for anyone that checks an opponent above the shoulder level. He should be ejected. And until we get that into the rule, we're going to continue to have a lot of concussions, not only in the pro game, but in the amateur game as well, because the amateurs try to copy the pros.
Somehow kids can play pickup games on an outdoor rink or frozen pond, wearing very little equipment, and suffer very few injuries. It seems they instinctively play with a healthy attitude towards safety, as Kurt Gagenbach remembers.
On the pond, you were playing smart and you were playing safe because you didn't have equipment on. And you were playing with the attitude that, you know, I don't want to get hurt. At the same time, you didn't want to hurt the other players.
This
but
is
all of a sudden you're playing organized hockey.
The rugby versus American football argument.
Equipment on, and like I said, you're equipped from head to toe.
Or the soccer versus American football argument.
Doesn't mean you still can't get hurt. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take that mentality of smart and safe hockey, like you were playing on the pond, of not wanting to get hurt. Doesn't mean you can't carry that over into organized hockey.
That's so true. We'll be back in a moment with some final thoughts on the greatest game in the world.
Wait, what game is that? Dark Souls?
There's no debate about it. For the health and well-being of hockey players at every age and level of play, it's
Final Fantasy IX.
that we eliminate concussions and spinal injuries.
Hockey players must learn to respect and protect their brain and
Dr.
spine,
Charles Tater.
plus the brains and spines of all the other players they are playing with and against. We don't want to see hockey players mentally dysfunctional from blows to the head or paralyzed from a serious neck injury.
The prevention of serious injuries is not only important for the players, it's a move we have to make for the long-term health of the game itself.
There are lots of things to do, hockey being one of them, other sports, other activities. Parents are concerned about their kids. And so when you're facing a choice, you don't want that choice to be made because you're not quite so sure about the safety of your child playing in a particular game. And that's the risk that is there,
Dr. Spudwell.
The foundation of all of this discussion on head injuries and in concussions. We don't want fewer people to play. And we certainly don't want fewer people to play for reasons that are fixable, as they are in terms of head injuries.
Well, we've heard reasons why concussions have been happening in hockey. We've heard that brain injuries must never be taken lightly and that complete recovery before returning to play is vital. We know even with hockey's very best protective equipment, there is still no guarantee it will prevent all injuries. We saw smart hockey tactics from players to safeguard themselves and opponents from concussions and spinal injuries, things coaches should teach and stress. And we know hockey's rules must be respected and enforced, especially on
my
hits
number
from
for
behind
you
and
is
hits to the head
416,
or
the current number.
Quite simply, everyone
the
in
number
hockey
of this
has
tape.
to show a healthy respect for the brain and spinal cord. From the kids to the pros, we have to play smart hockey because it's up to all of us to keep this great game
But how
safe
could you own over
for
700
future generations?
discrete pieces of media? All right, moving right along. I have an America tape. Let's see. Okay. We got to make a choice here. There's only time for one more, because I assume, let's see, Stephen George likes to play video games on Twitch on Wednesdays, right? So we can't do 2 full hour-long tapes, but we can do one of them. These are the 2 tapes I have. We can do Proudly We Hail with Robert Stack, which looks just saccharinely patriotic, and we don't know quite what its political bent is either. It's from maybe the early 90s, I would say. It looks kind of late 80s, but that font, I think, that's like digital Microsoft Word produced cover art. So there's Proudly We Hail. We could celebrate the 4th of July. Or we could postpone that until after I'm back, after the 4th of July. And instead, right now, watch A Gift for All Seasons, The Spirit of Nature. Introducing Scott Wesson and his original nature songs. The entire family will always enjoy watching and listening to this unique wildlife musical. So it's either patriotism or Scott. I'm going to make a poll for that. Tape. Patriotism. Scott. I don't... America... Proudly We Hail is 50 minutes long. The Spirit of Nature, we don't know. It does not list a runtime. Damn it, it's also Canadian. He's from Ontario. I got this in a thrift store in Durham. It looks like we're going with Scott, so let's check that out. This is... Clear the tape. Scott. The Spirit of Nature with Scott Wesson. Oh, the spark of nature, it's the spark that gives us life, and every living creature has the spirit of nature inside. I absolutely love this cassette. Look at it. What the hell? It's beautiful. It's green. It's got this texture on it. It has these little slit windows. This unique program, believed to be the first ever something musical program complete with lyrics featuring original songs about nature, written and composed by Scott Wesson of North Carolina, USA. Okay, so it's just distributed by a Canadian company for some reason. 3 of the songs especially written for director Robert Bonham, precedented production. These songs are illustrated with selected works of 5 of North America's great wildlife photographers who spent many years in the field over the continent. The songs are accompanied by a symphony of sound, adding realism to this magnificent oral experience. Unlike most nature programs, the message is experienced in the sights, sounds, and songs of the spirit of nature, helping the viewer achieve a deeper appreciation of our natural world. Scott Wesson, songwriter, performer, naturalist, has written many wonderful nature songs, captivating audiences during his live performances throughout the southeastern United States for several years. Scott has dedicated his life to helping our natural world through his music. Robert Bocking, producer, director, cinematographer, naturalist, has over 30 years of experience in the production of high-quality televisions and educational nature films. Oh, is there another plane volcano in the news? Was it easier to pronounce this time? He recently completed 9 educational films for the National Geographic Society. His credits appear on over 300 episodes of nature television series. So we know this is going to be good. I mean, the wildlife photography seems like it's not going to be amateur. The songs feel like they're going to be amateur, and I'm absolutely here for that. I also like how when it lists the title of It's the Spirit of Nature, and when they reference the title of it in the copy, it's a tiny version of the logo. Just look at this cassette. Have you ever seen a tape like this? It's green. It's green. It's the color of nature. It's like, it feels so good in the hand. Like, it has this grippy strip here of raised plastic. It's on both sides. It's kind of like grabbing an NES cartridge to put it in and pull it out. Like, it feels... Every tape should be designed like this. All right. Let's do it. Let's enjoy the spirit of nature. Oh, Smart Hockey came with a little pamphlet in here, in this smart Disney clamshell. Oh my God, there's so many things you can learn about not getting hit. It's got stretches in here. Isometric exercise. Anyway, we moved on to Goose now.
I think I could do if I had to live life without you.
I'm turning this up.
I could never find another mate. Oh, you're my everything. Let's just spend today out on the pond, drifting around under the sun, stretching in the early morning haze, just loving time away. Then we can fly together, sharing our love wherever.
I'm sorry. Do I have the hard drive space to record this right now? I might not, so I'm not going to.
Feeling free forever.
But I can't find anything about this anywhere, so I think it is. We're getting into the true media preservation work of Golden VCR.
Feels so good when winter turns to spring, giving us a nesting time again. Everything we live for comes so true. Oh, all because of you. Love to see our family growing strong. Can't imagine what more I could want. Little ones all
If you Google Scott Wesson in quotes and The Spirit of Nature in quotes, you get an Amazon listing for this VHS tape that has no information whatsoever. It's just the title, and then it's not available. And then you get the page on Golden VCR. That's it.
Sharing our love wherever. Let's spread our wings, our hearts will sing, feeling free forever.
I'm digging this.
I don't know a thing I could do if I had to live life without you.
Like, something within me is just really captivated by this. Like, I suddenly am really into Scott and his music. I want to transcribe all the lyrics so that it's preserved for future generations. Robert Bocking Productions, in association with Hawkland Music, presents The Spirit of Nature. It just feels like, so Scott learned to play the guitar and is an amateur musician and he loves nature and he likes to sing about nature and he writes songs about nature. And he's friends with this award-winning nature photographer. Maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe Scott has some sort of credentials, but I don't need him to. He's just a dude that loves nature and he wants to share it with us. Oh, please, tape. Please.
Hello, I'm Scott Wesson. I'd like to invite you to join me as I share some of the songs I've written about nature. I'm fortunate to have grown up in North Carolina, where I've enjoyed the wonders of the outdoors from the mountains to the sea. The deep kinship I've developed with nature has led me to dedicate my life to helping wildlife and our natural world.
I love it.
A lot of people ask me how or why I write songs about nature. Mostly I'm compelled by a deep sense of compassion for all living things. A great inspiration for me is recognizing each thing in nature individually.
A soft-spoken
When I'm walking
rural
in the
North
woods,
Carolina boy who loves
I
nature.
see each tree, hear each bird, and feel each breeze.
How can you not love Scott? He looks a little bit like John Prine.
Birds of prey are especially motivating. So much so that I named my music company Hawkland Music in admiration of some of our most majestic birds. Also, Canadian nature artist Robert Bateman has been a vital influence. If someone can evoke strong feelings about nature through wildlife art, surely it should also be possible with music if we are to preserve our natural heritage.
Somewhere down by an open stream, a shallow pond or a winding creek, a place where the minnows live abundantly.
I love this so much.
Well, I sit up on
I had a feeling.
limb just waiting for those fish to swim. Then I eat my fill most graciously.
See, this is why...
'Cause I'm a kingfisher, kingfisher, flashing right on by.
Oh, it's so good. This is exactly why when I go to the thrift store where they have VHS tapes that are 10 cents each, this is why I come home with 100 of them. Because
there are many things
if one of them
to say, but I'd rather let my songs speak for themselves.
It's all
Please
worth
sit
it.
back and relax as you listen to my music and view the filming of some of the world's greatest nature cinematographers. Beyond the songs and pictures, I hope you'll find your own deeper kinship with our natural world as we explore the spirit of nature.
This is definitely going on YouTube, unadulterated.
When I wake up in the morning and go outside, I want to hear the blue jay squawking and watch that old sunrise. I hunger for the feeling of the winds breezing by, 'cause I want to know my world is alright.
I love this so much. Oh my God. This is perfect.
As I wander through the backwoods near my country home, there's a creek that plays sweet music as it winds along. I listen to the forest, look for all the signs, 'cause I want to know my world is alright.
I love this so much. It's genuinely inspiring something in me, and I'm gonna try to to shut up and not, instead of just continually saying, "Oh my God, I love this," and let Scott talk. Let the music talk. I want you all to be able to enjoy this as much as I am. I don't know if it's speaking to you in the same way, but it's great. I love it.
Will they know the majesty of an eagle on the wing? And if they see a rainbow streaming across the sky, I wonder, will excitement fill their eyes? Before I lay down in the evening, I take a look outside. I want to hear the owl hooting in the full moon.
These are legit music videos.
See the stars are sparkling, just lighting up the night. Then I know.
I thought it was just going to be a montage of wildlife photography, but they have shots of Scott looking out the window. Oh.
My world is all right.
Like, what a novel concept. A music video made by wildlife photographers.
Deforestation isn't just a problem in the tropical rainforests. It's a very real problem right here in North America. I feel it's a miracle that this magnificent old oak tree has survived the early development of our country.
If the birds don't call and the land has been forsaken, if the last tree falls and your final breath is taken, What will money buy you then? You'll look, cannot find a friend. You'll be gasping and choking and wishing it wouldn't end. If the last tree falls, all your chances will be gone. There'll be nothing you can do. No, nothing you can do.
Yeah, this is giving me
If the
goosebumps.
last tree falls, you will fall too. If the streams run dry and the chains have all been broken, if the last wolf cries and your final words are spoken, there's no place you can run off to when all your dreams go falling through. You'll be pleading for someone to tell you it isn't true. If the last tree falls, all your chances will be gone. There'll be nothing you can do. No, nothing you can do. 'Cause if the last tree falls, you will fall too.
I really thought too that the this was just going to be like hokey 70s man with a guitar singing like the trees are nice and the flowers are nice, but it's really it's probably not everyone's cup of tea musically, but it's good. I like it.
If the last tree falls,
He is conveying his message from the heart in a
all
very
your
effective way.
chances will be gone. There'll be nothing you can do. No, nothing you can do. 'Cause if the last tree falls, you will fall too.
Man. And it's definitely a choice too to include, like, you know, there's the ambient sound effects of nature and the sound of like the logging truck rolling by.
I know a place in the woods.
I think Scott very much believes in his music coexisting with the sounds of nature.
Every day they come together among the oaks and pines. A gentle breeze sends leaves a-trembling, rustling their soft song. The winding streams trickling to somewhere kindly sing along. Out in the woods there's tranquility, a sense of sweet serenity. Time passes so peacefully, oh, out in the woods.
Oh, it's the AIM logo. Sonny's strum, of course.
There's an old hickory tree where the timbers breathe, guarding over all. Many moons have shone upon her, and the years have had broken bones. She just smiles as the forest creatures make the limbs their home. Out in the woods, there's tranquility, a sense of sweet serenity. Time passes so peacefully, oh, out in the woods.
Little neck stepper.
Out in the woods, there's tranquility, a sense of sweet serenity. Time passes so peacefully, oh, out at a place in the woods where the deer and birds find their peace of mind.
We're all sitting around the campfire with Scott.
What makes the world go circling round? Why don't the moon and stars fall down? Why's the earth wrapped in swirling clouds, raining and thundering onward? Why do some trees grow tall and strong, while others barely seem to get along? How do the wind and leaves make a song? Must be the spirit of nature.
Okay, his like early 90s country singer voice
It's the spark that gives us
is
life.
pretty flawless.
Every living creature has the spirit of nature inside. What makes the ocean roll and wave? Why do the whales and dolphins play? How do cares just go away, gazing across the water? When polar winds make a southern sweep, the bears curl up and go to sleep. Flocking birds ride on the breeze, feeling the spirit of nature. Oh, the spirit of nature. It's the spark that gives us life. Every living creature has the spirit of nature inside. Tears swell in my eyes every time I see an eagle fly. Why does a wolf howl to the sky? Must be the spirit of nature. Oh, the spirit of nature. It's the spark that gives us life. Every living creature has the spirit of nature inside. Yes, every living creature has the spirit of nature inside.
It's almost like the
You know, there's a lot of endangered creatures.
whippoorwill or whatever
They're
it is
endangered because the special
harmonizing
places
with
they need
Scott.
to live are being destroyed or disturbed. The next song I'm going to sing is about a little bird called the Kirtland's warbler. It's endangered. In fact, there's only a few hundred left. Each spring, it migrates from its wintering grounds in the Bahamas all the way to the jack pine plains of Michigan, because that's the special place it needs to live. I hope you like my song. From the tips of tender jack pine trees, Kirtland's warbler sits and sings, sweetest song I've ever heard. In a nearby thicket of blueberries and sweet fern, a tightly woven nest of love is hidden from the world. They take off from the Bahamas over miles and miles of water, flying home in time.
Yeah, get some sleep. You'll be able to catch the rest of this on the VOD.
Even though they are in danger,
I really want
and they
to
see their world a-changing,
bring my VCR to
they
Wisconsin.
go on trying faithfully.
We're visiting
From the
Haley's
tips
family.
of tender jack pine trees, Kirtland's warbler sits and sings.
I really want us to watch this with
Sweetest song
Haley's
I've
dad
ever
and our 2-year-old niece. I think they would both dig it.
In a nearby thicket of blueberries and sweet fern, a tightly woven nest of love is hidden from the world. Sometimes Mama Nature's handiwork is hidden from the world. Have you ever imagined what it might be like if birds could talk?
No, Scott, but I really want to know what you think about it.
Meadowlark just a singing across the countryside, sunlight settling softly upon the timberline. Music fills the dusky sky with words I can't arrange. Sweet voice of the meadowlark whistling his refrain. If birds could talk, what might they say? Would our words just get in their way? Each time I hear a meadowlark's call, I could share all his feelings and thoughts if birds could talk.
This tape is consistently amazing. Like, every new song is great in its own way.
The blossoms open wide.
If birds could talk. Such a great idea for a song. When it comes from the mind of Scott Wesson.
Among the dandelions, verses grace the tender winds with language strange to hear, and written in each lovely note a message true and clear. If birds could talk, what might they say? Would our words just get in their way? Each time I hear a meadowlark's call, I could share all his feelings and thoughts if birds could talk.
But what if birds could vote?
Each time I hear a meadowlark's call, I could share all his feelings and thoughts if birds could talk.
Fish. It's a good shot.
Until you've seen a bluebird preening on the branches of a dogwood, until you've heard him softly chirping in a misty morning sky, can you know that he has feelings, hopes and fears and longings? Well, every beat of his wings is just another sign. Birds have feelings too, yes I know they do. They're alive and they breathe.
Birds have feelings. It's such a wonderful song. I love it.
Birds have feelings too. Don't you know it's true?
If the vibe of this tape, if the way it was presented, if Scott as a person were a little different, I could see myself getting a lot of fun out of making fun of how bleeding heart it is about birds having feelings. But this is just such a perfect package. Like, it's so heartfelt. It's so earnest. Fuck it, birds do have feelings. I'm convinced.
On an old gray cedar fence post, heaven knows what he is thinking, where he's going, where he's been. Well, sometimes he darts and dances, then he serenades for hours, and every note that he sings reminds me once again. Birds have feelings too, yes I know they do. They're alive.
Josh, this is one of the best tapes we've ever watched, in my opinion.
That's enough for me to believe. Birds have feelings too. Don't you know?
The entire family will always enjoy watching and listening to this unique wildlife musical.
Feathered wings.
True.
Hidden deep.
This has really exceeded my expectations in every possible way.
Oh, the robin in the garden and the friendly peeping cardinal, they all show emotion in some way.
Informally, we have a Hall of Fame. I do pick out those tapes and keep them in a special place. I have to go back through old broadcasts and retroactively do that for some of them.
They're alive and they breathe. That's enough for me to believe. Birds have feelings too. Don't you know it's true? Down beneath feathered wings, hidden deep, beats.
Beaver are among the most industrious of all animals. Their craftsmanship is evident when they build their dams, where they also create an ecosystem that supports a variety of creatures.
This is the best nature documentary I've ever seen.
They're working just like carpenters upon the home they're crafting, fitting every stick of wood in just the proper place. Oh, the rhythm of the river, the winds are brushing by the birches, swaying through the willows. Paints a picture so inviting, it just takes my heart away. Oh, the beaver dam is peaceful in the gently flowing water, a fortress nestled in a wonderland. Strong against the weather, one of nature's tranquil treasures. Do we really understand all the love that goes into a beaver dam? Most every night under starlight, they keep right on building, making sure it's all secure to raise their family.
Yeah, every song is
When daybreak comes,
like Scott, in my opinion, is a competent musician and a very good singer.
Flickers a good morning with a beauty,
which is part of the
so
gestalt of this whole thing. Like every little piece has to work. If Scott were a bad singer, it would be funny.
Oh, the beaver dam is peaceful in the gently flowing water.
But it's just it's piercing straight to the heart for me. I'm picking up what Scott is putting down.
Strong against the weather, one of nature's tranquil treasures. Do we really understand?
I don't know how long this tape is. We're going until 1. So if this is, we're at 34 minutes. If this ends at an hour, we'll find something else to watch for a little bit. But we're out around 1 p.m.
Yes, it's strong against the weather. It's one of nature's tranquil treasures. Do we really understand all the love that goes into a beaver dam? Dusky seaside sparrow.
Yeah, assuming he goes live.
Fly so free out in the marshy wetlands where the river meets the sea. People build roads and bridges, they drain the wetlands dry. What I'd give to hear you singing now, or see you flying by. You're the price of progress, sacrifice that's made. God, I wonder where we'll be when the price of progress is paid.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier, but I think it's kind of like I kind of like it.
Used to roam on the open plain.
I guess that's what you mean too. Yeah, like that. He's allowing the sounds of nature to coexist with his song, and then the same goes for the sounds of
your homeland,
human civilization.
Guns and towns rounded up the few survivors.
And it's really effective. I just like that he had clearly an attitude that wasn't like precious about his music. Like, oh, there can't be a bird chirping in the background because it'll ruin my beautiful music. He wants the bird chirping in the background.
God, I wonder where we'll be when the price of progress is paid. Can't go on neglecting the lessons we have learned, carelessly creating a lifeless, lonely world. Seems that's the price of progress, the sacrifice that's made. Why I wonder where we'll be when the price of progress is paid. God, I wonder where we'll be when the price of progress is paid. It's amazing how the morning sun gently wakes the marshland up, glistening through the misty haze. Perched up high upon a reed, the red-winged blackbird sings, and the frogs all have their say.
It's a travesty that this wasn't like picked up by country radio stations and didn't become a mainstream hit. The world was not ready for Scott, and I think that's a shame.
Yes, the marshland is a friendly place. The herons and the geese feel safe. Your Mother Nature's always near. Turtle sitting on a log, a songbird's tender call. You never know what you might hear.
And yeah, Robert Bocking, who has over 300 nature TV credits as producer, director, and cinematographer. He's
It's amazing
true to form.
The
nature photography in this is excellent.
Everyone just before a peaceful sleep.
It's really the complete package.
Laying at the water's edge, not quite through just yet. I hear the frogs in harmony.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly low energy. Like, that's not the right word. It's very, like, peaceful and tranquil.
Songbirds down below her.
It's probably not going to end with, like, a bombastic, high-energy number about how we're all going to die.
Timberwolf is howling
if we don't get our shit together.
from a far hillside.
But there have been songs about how we're all going to die if we don't get our shit together.
As the voices
They're just serene and calm and understated.
through the sky is the call of the wild, a bald eagle's cry, the sound of the rolling thunder, a whispery wind, oceans crashing in, filling our world with wonder. Call of the wild. Trickling down the mountain, streams and rivers wind, feeding the roaring rapids, singing for miles. Oh, the waterfalls make music so sweet upon your ear.
Rest in peace to Scott.
Rushing to the seaway, just close your eyes and hear. It's the call of the wild, a bald eagle's cry, the sound of the rolling thunder, a whispery wind, oceans crashing in, filling our world with wonder.
Scott had an unbridled love for nature and the outdoors. Above all else, he loved his family. He was a compassionate, genuine, respected man by all who knew him. In keeping with Scott's wishes, there will be no services. Memorial donations in lieu of flowers should be made to a nature, wildlife, or animal charity of your choice.
Believes in song. Nature's changing breezes, swirling on and on. The call of the wild, a bald eagle's
His tribute wall on this funeral home website has many very heartfelt testimonials from people who knew him.
Oceans crashing in, filling our world with wonder. The call of the wild, the call of the wild. There are many people who volunteer their time and effort by helping nature in a number of different ways. I hope our program encourages you to put nature first. As individuals, we can make a worthwhile difference. On behalf of all the creatures who cannot speak for themselves, thank you.
Oh, Scott.
Watch the ocean rolling, let it roll on by. Stop at least for a moment and wonder why. Hear the sparrows singing, sweet voices a glisten. Won't you stop at least this once, my friends, and listen? Oh, there's so many things to discover so much more than first meets the eye. And it's true, if you look deeper, a richer world you'll find. Oceans are more than water, forests are more than trees, mountains are more than hilltops, come down to earth and sea.
This is a great, inspiring song about touching grass.
Feel the wind a-blowing, it circles round and round. Stop at least for a moment, do you ever wonder how? Smell the tender blossoms unfolding everywhere. Open up your senses and really breathe the air.
When's the last time you got outside and enjoyed and appreciated nature?
The world out there's enchanting.
Try and do it every once in a while
Let the
if you
magic take you away.
can. It really is good for
All
you.
the endless natural wonders will keep you so amazed. Oceans are more than water, forests are more than trees, mountains are more than hilltops, come down to earth and sea. Yes, the world out there's enchanting. Let the magic take you away. All the endless natural wonders will keep you so amazed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oceans are more than water.
There are people who are pleasant to be around, and then there are people who are a pleasure. Scott was the latter.
Mountains are more than hilltops, come down to earth and sea, come down to earth and
sea. Wow. This was really something. Campfire children. Music copyright 1999. Oh, BMI, huh? Wow. Wow. It's not often that a tape leaves me speechless, but here we are. Scott Wesson's The Spirit of Nature. Yeah, I feel like I need to just soak that in. That was incredible. So it has a, is this a Dewey Decimal number? It has like a library sticker on it. I don't know what Forest View is. But this was absolutely incredible. A gift for all seasons. The entire family will always enjoy watching and listening to this unique wildlife musical. I couldn't agree more. The spirit of nature. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to, yeah. Surely it will survive the VOD. I would certainly hope so. If as long as it does, I will find a way of getting this whole thing with no added stream commentary up on YouTube at some point. No, it's not America time. We could maybe do a little bit of Steam? Okay. Thank you, Green Day, for the 1,000 bits for Steam. I'm gonna wait just a minute on that if that's okay. We'll do it at the end. In like 10 minutes. Is that okay? Yeah, I just want to give Scott a little room to breathe. Here, I know what. We'll just do this. Let's just vibe with a little bit of PlayStation 2 era
with your
golf
eyes
tape.
closed. Over and over.
Now let's learn the single plane setup.
Yeah. Okay. This is bringing me back to just a VHS baseline.
The significance of the single plane setup.
This was too special.
The swing during impact.
This was absolutely wonderful.
The laws of physics dictate that in all full golf swings, the golfer's arms will try to align with the shaft of the golf club during impact. We can certainly see this in both the natural and conventional
I've got to get
golfer
like
holds
official
the club
Hall of
in the
Fame
fingers,
support.
His arms and club shaft are on two different planes at setup. In order to make room for the natural alignment of arms and club shaft through impact, his body must move up and back. This extra body motion.
Those boxes, by the way,
swing, making it difficult to
are
consistently control the direction.
the tapes that we've watched.
And where
there's
it will
like
strike the ball.
Another box and a half that are full now.
In contrast,
at some point I will have to like
sets up with his arms
figure
and
out
club
cold
shaft in
storage.
the alignment they will naturally return to during impact. Fewer moving parts leads to consistent repeatability. Simple, isn't it? Watch and listen now to begin your imprint of the next piece. The single plane setup is easy to attain. It is simply a matter of comfortably extending your arms away from your body while remaining on balance. The key is to have the upper arms on top of the chest, not to the side. Then lower the arms, bend from the hips, and flex the knees to rest the club head on the ground. From this view, the lead arm and club shaft are in line with each other. The lead shoulder is higher than the trail shoulder, and the upper body is tilted slightly away from the target. From this view, part of the lead arm is visible above the trail arm. The completed single plane setup looks like this. Okay, now it's time for you to participate.
Scott
This
is now in the Hall of
best
Fame.
Completed with a short club, like a 9-iron. Take your complete two-hand palm grip.
All the computer animation tapes are in the Hall of Fame currently. God's Property is in the Hall of Fame. Psycho Pike is up there.
On top of your chest.
The Wisconsin DNR training video.
Bend at the hip to bring the club to the ground. Flex your knees just out of the lock position. Your lead arm should be in line with the club shaft.
Tales from the Land of Gullah definitely deserves a spot up there.
Is higher than your trail shoulder, and you tilt slightly away from the target.
Scarf is Hall of
You may
Fame,
find it
absolutely.
easier to stay on balance if you shift your hips slightly toward the target as you angle your upper body away. Part of your lead arm should be visible above your trail arm. Compare your completed single plane setup to the model. Make any adjustments necessary until you match.
Okay, this is Metroid Prime music. This really is the perfect PS2
When it
GameCube
is,
era
congratulate yourself
production quality.
deeply and prepare to begin learning wide stance.
Senator Larry Craig.
Our third fundamental will help.
We're learning the Senator Larry Craig golf technique
between your arms and club. It's the
man.
wide stance. This is the beginning of your next piece to imprint, so just watch and listen. For stability during the swing, we use a wide stance. This solid starting platform minimizes body rotations that might throw the club head off your intended line during the swing.
Sorry, I can't get enough of Senator Larry Craig jokes, even though no one remembers Senator Larry Craig and his Minnesota bathroom airport escapades anymore.
The insides of your feet are placed as wide or wider than the trunk of your body. Okay, time for you to follow along as the model demonstrates an easy way to establish a hip-width stance. From an upright posture.
Yeah, it's Senator Larry Craig was a Republican senator from Idaho, I think, who was.
Look down your trail arm.
What makes the story great, as always seems to be the case in these
look down your lead
closeted politician stories, is that he was like vocally against gay rights
a great way to
and
determine
vocally
the width of your natural golf
homophobic
stance.
in his political career. And then he was caught by an undercover officer soliciting sex in the men's bathroom of the Minnesota International Airport.
Take your palm grip, handle underneath the lead hand heel pad, on the trail hand heel pad.
It's the hypocrisy that makes it.
Now, single plane. Extend your arms on top of your chest. Bend from your hip. Tilt your upper body slightly away from the target. Wide stance. The insides of your feet are as wide or wider than the outside of your hips. Compare your completed natural golf setup to the model. Make any adjustments necessary so you match.
Do you have it? Do you have it perfectly? When you do, walk away. Come back and do it again and again. When you have it perfectly, repeat it until you can match the perfect model with your eyes closed. Over and over.
I really love this guy's attitude.
Now that you know the natural golf setup, we will help you develop a pre-shot routine, a sequence you can follow that guarantees a consistent setup before each golf shot. Watch now to learn the natural golf aim and alignment routine. As a natural golfer, you will aim the club face first, and then align your body relative to the club face. What good does it do to hit a golf ball perfectly straight if your aim is wrong? The face of your club is the aiming device. Once you have the club face square to your target, comfortably align your body at a right angle to the club face. Aiming begins behind the ball. This way, you are looking down the target line to the target. Take your palm grip first.
Is Wrath Month like the? Is it because pride and wrath are
See your target?
Are sins, or
step to the ball? Let
Yeah.
your aiming device, the club face, lead. You follow it, like this.
Sloth Month, Envy Month, Greed Month, Gluttony Month,
Set the club face
Lust Month.
perfectly square to your target.
What month is Lust Month? I want to know.
The club face remains square to the target as you position your arms on plane with the club shaft and adjust the width of your stance. The body is aligned comfortably relative to the square club face. Okay, it's time for you to participate. First, put a ball on the floor, then pick a target to aim at while standing a few paces behind the ball. Take your palm grip.
Haley, I think you had a meeting. Were you here for any of
See the
the
target.
Nature Songs tape?
Step to the ball.
Because it was absolutely excellent.
Aim the club
And I
face.
really want to.
Extend your arms.
I really want to watch it with you and your dad and
Assume your wide stance.
and the niece.
Align your feet and body while remaining on balance. Many golfers find it easier to accurately aim the club face to a spot that is closer to them than the actual target. Here's a simple variation to the aim and alignment routine for you to try.
All the 3D graphics here are great.
While standing behind the ball on the target line, bring your eyes from the target back to the ball and pick a spot, like a leaf or a divot, that is about 3 feet in front of the ball.
Do we have a good raid message? I was thinking birds have feelings too.
Aim the club face at this spot as a reference to your target line, and then continue to align your body.
Do you have it perfectly? When you do, walk away. Come back and do it again and again. Do you keep matching the aim and alignment model?
He keeps saying the same thing. This is giving me really hardcore
over and over.
FMV game vibes. Where every time you successfully complete something, it cuts to this guy.
How can you know
this guy would be a
how
great
far to
FMV
stand
game
from the ball?
actor.
You achieve a naturally correct distance from the ball by recreating that single plane setup we showed you. Again, this
Yeah, I've got my eye on the Metroid timer.
The key is to rest your upper arms comfortably on top of your chest.
Stand back.
You can attain this
To stand back.
by swinging your arm around your shoulder, or by raising and lowering your
What
arms.
are the dog doing?
Then bend from your hips until the bottom or
I gotta.
sole of the club.
If I
rests
just make like little GIF alerts of every line of that song, then we could cooperatively
be sure to flex your
reenact
knees.
it.
You are the correct distance from the ball when you find balance on the center of both feet. Do you ever vary your stance width? How far apart your feet are placed depends on the length of the club you're using. The longer the club, the farther apart your feet will be. The insides of your feet will generally be hip width apart when you use a 5-iron. Widen your stance for longer clubs and move your feet slightly closer together when playing shorter clubs. How will you find the correct ball position with different clubs? Ball position for the short irons is generally across from the center of your body. As the club gets longer, move the ball position slightly closer to the target. When the ball is played from a tee with a driver, the ball is positioned generally across from the lead hip. Here are examples of ball positions for a 9-iron, 5-iron, and a driver. Feel free to experiment to find the best ball position for the length club you are using. Where do I position the club head on the ground at setup? Keep the club head position simple. Be sure the club face is aimed at the target and let the club head rest on the ground.
We will steam in just a minute. I'm going through some clips that I've recorded to.
Now, before we move on, here is a word of caution about moving on before you have committed each piece.
I'm going through some clips that I have not cataloged yet.
It is very easy to stop
remember
midway
what
through the
we
repetition phase. About the time your conscious mind has a tendency to play a trick
remember
on
what
you by getting halfway
I've
to
got
forming
that
a
I need
habit
to deal with at
and
some
then
point.
moving on to another piece. Now, don't let that happen. When you are sure you've got it, stay with the repetitions for a good while longer. Anywhere you are, everywhere you go, the investment is worth it. You won't have to do it again when you make it a habit correctly the first time. If you have, then it's time to ceremoniously congratulate yourself and graduate to joys of full effect natural golfing taught on tape 2. Reward yourself right now. You are halfway toward giving yourself a lifetime of better golf.
Mo Norman is quite simply the best ball striker in the game.
I don't know what's going on anymore in this golf tape. Let's check out our favorite song ever that is not about nature. Where do I keep these things? I forget. Yes, here. Steam, courtesy of Green Day Rock. Thank you, Green Day. It's been a lovely time today. I really feel like starting out with the Golden VCR 80s rap got me in the right spirit for this stream. Who knew this song could be made any better? Are those penis mushrooms? I like the woodpecker. It's got like very choppy animation. How many penises can you count in this Peter Gabriel music video? Isn't the Eiffel Tower a penis in one of the shots? Hi, Swift. Oh, the chair. The chair never gets old. Some parts of this might be capable of getting old, but not the chair. Okay, I have successfully turned on vacation mode on the Twitch schedule. So our next stream is accurately reflected on that schedule. It will be Monday the 8th I would like to do something on Friday, this Friday, but I have to like pack and stuff, so I probably will not. Also, we have just a little more time.
All right, it looks like I'll have to prove it. Is that it? Why does everything have to be such a big production? Okay, hold on to your hats. Here we go.
He's from another dimension, a billion miles from here. He calls himself U2B, and the message.
We will raid in a second. This is just my farewell to you, everyone. Hope you have a happy July 4th holiday or Canada Day holiday. Or just a great weekend if you don't subscribe to either of those national identities.
And I'll be good again.
You got it. My grandma's feeling good.
Oh, stop.
My grandma's feeling good. Your grandma's feeling good.
Everybody has something about their lives they want to change. A lot of people have trouble with food. I say, because I think you are so very
Just
nice,
keep these messages
I
in
want to
mind
offer you some
until we
good
meet
advice.
again.
Now, you may be rich, you may be poor, living high on the hog or stretched out on the floor. You may be a professor with knowledge to burn, or just a young kid with a lot to learn. You may be black, white, red, yellow, or in between. You may be kind or a little mean, but if you follow this simple phrase, you'll be a winner for the rest of your days. First, stand up, everyone in this place. Now put a great big smile on your face. Everybody ready? Let's go. This is the phrase you need to know. I can change, I can do it. I can change, I can do it.
That was a good insemination today.
This was a great stream today. So this is our the final farewell. I will see you all
I hope you had a good time, and I hope you learned something
in
too.
Wrath Month.
Come on back and see me again for some more fun learning. And remember, treat other people the way you want to be treated. Okay? Time to go. So long for now. 5, 4, 3.
We are ready to raid. It is hashtag birds have feelings too. Have a lovely week or so, and I'll see you again on Monday, the 8th. Appreciate you all being here. You make these streams special just by being here. All right. Farewell, everyone. It's raid time. Take it easy.